We got to acknowledge that once upon a time, there was a terrorist that went by the name of Osama bin Laden, and he absolutely terrorized a city called New York. And it sent the country into an absolute downward spiral where we spent absolute billions and trillions on trying to find this mass evil. This mass evil. 2001, that happened. 2025. Zohran Mumdani becomes the mayor of New York. We have to acknowledge the growth. We have to acknowledge the growth. That's an insane comeback. Brown people stand up. We have to take a little bit of pride in it, right? Look, I have never ever seen brown women support a brother like this. You know, it was one thing when they were supporting Beto O'Rourke in Austin, Texas, right? That's one thing, because there's nothing more than what a brown woman loves than a good white boy. It's true. It's true. After a brown girl dates a couple of brown boys and it doesn't go well because, you know, oh, he's a mama's boy. Oh, he has this issue. Oh, he drops the N-word all the time. They go to a white boy. That's the next ring on the ladder. And then once that happens, oh my gosh, it's signed off. Oh, he's probably a doctor. Oh, he's probably well off. Ooh, he's money. You know, he'll take care of you. Good genes. We're going to talk about that later. Zohran Mumdani, he wins. He does it almost by a landslide. Absolutely whoops these dudes' asses. And we talked about this. We got it right. We said it here on the podcast. I don't think anyone else was saying that he was going to win, honestly. He won. And here's the thing, right? We knew that age would win in this battle, right? We knew the youth would come through and he was going to claim this spot because people were already upset with how things were in New York. Oh, with the affordability. Oh, you know, we don't like that this is happening. We can't be on the streets safely. He won. On day 2 or day 1, now people are upset. Oh, look, he's already asking for money. And look, it's a bad look. Is he right? Yes, he needs probably a $1 trillion to start making actual change happen, right? You have to fund these operations somehow. And on day 1, you're asking the people that you told to stop sending you money to, hey, you know what? I lied. And that's honestly, I kind of like him more now. I like a good politician that you know, he lies to get into the spot and then he switches the script. It's a good politician. What else can he do with that skill set? You know what I'm saying? I hope he doesn't keep duping the people, right? But he's duping, you know, the system. How does he get change to happen? We all want something to happen. I don't even live in New York. Half of these people that put him on his story don't live in New York. You hear me? But boy, were they excited. Oh, a brown brother in the office. Oh, can you imagine how many times that brother has said the N-word? Come on now. Let's be real. I get it. He's always smiling and you see that cheek to cheek grin all the time. This man just looks like this all the time. That's him. Day 1, he asks for money. Day 2, he says, hey, if y'all don't fix y'all shit, we're going to come fix it. And then we're going to take it. We're going to take it from y'all. Now, once again, a little communist like. I kind of like it. Look, all I'm saying is if we had this whole no king's energy for one brother, we got to keep it consistent. My issue has never been with who you support. All I want is consistency. I don't care if you protest. I have no negative connotation to people's free speech and free, oh yeah, you know, you should speak out against the higher or the tyranny. I just want consistency. That's all it's ever been. Remember all the Twitter fingers back in the day? My issue wasn't with people expressing their opinion. My issue was with consistency. I get it. It's one thing to be a hypocrite, but consistency is different. This brother wins. He does it. Now, am I excited about it? Kind of. It's kind of cool to see a brown brother get that spot. We've been up, you know, we've been taking L's recently. So it's good to have that. Now then, my issue with all of this is, though, is on that night, I didn't keep up too much with it, but a handful of Democrat senators won. It was a big night for the blue wave, and that's cool. That's what's up. But the issue is every single one of them that end up winning, they go up there, and the first words they utter out of their mouth are a challenge towards Donald Trump. And this is my issue with this stuff, where it's like, why are y'all picking a fight with the pettiest dude in the world that has all the power in the world, right? The number one rule about getting in a fight, whether you're at a bar, whether you're at school, whether you're I don't know, fucking in a sport, you got to know somewhere in your head, I could win this. I could possibly win this fight. Maybe a person might be a little bit bigger than you, but you think, you know what, I'm a little bit faster. I could go for their knees, knock them down a little bit, and then I just got to be able to take a couple hits, and I'll be good. I'll be able to withstand the fight. At least I'll get one in, you know what I'm saying? When all these people end up picking on Donald Trump, it's like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, do you want to fail? Do you want to fail? I get it. It's one thing to go against the Democratic wave of things, right? Whether it's his policies impeding with your policies or whatever it is. But figure it out differently. I got 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. What a cornball, bro. What the fuck is that? I just don't understand. Like, why challenge this brother? Because the only thing that's going to do is just hurt your tenure, hurt your performance as governor, right? You're going to try to do something, and then he's going to fight it. People got to figure out how to get in bed with the enemy at some point, right? I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen with all government officials. The most important asset you could have is getting in bed with the enemy. Because it's not like you're on their side now, right? But you do it to get something out of it, right? I get in your bed, and then maybe I'll get breakfast in the morning. You know what I'm saying? We're talking deep metaphors here. You got to really lock in here. You don't go to their house and say, ugh, you don't have a headboard? Ugh, you're on an air mattress? No. You say, hey, do you have any wine? Oh, I really like these candles. You have a jersey on the wall? Wow. Come on, ladies. Y'all already know this stuff. And fellas, it's the same thing. I just don't understand why these challenges keep happening. But we got to acknowledge, what a big step for New York. I really hope it works out. Do I think it's going to work out? I don't. But shout out Zohran. And, we'd love to have you on the podcast. On to the next bit. Where have I been this last week? We went to Vegas. And one announcement I have for y'all. For those that are planning a bachelor party, bachelorette party, always do your big night, right? Oftentimes it's bottle service. Maybe it's a little section. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, right? Always plan the big activity on Friday night. On Friday night, all the time. You can survive one night, right? You can get through that Thursday night burst of everyone getting together. The ice is breaking a little bit. You're playing flip cup. Ooh, rage cage. Ooh, let's play ride the bus. Oh, let's do this. Oh, y'all want to drink? Y'all want to smoke? What do y'all want to do? Hey, let's all meet each other. Whatever it is, people slowly rolling in on Friday now. Some people are a little bit hungover, but you know what? They still have the energy. They still have the energy to keep drinking. They wake up and say, hey, you know what? We should go do bottomless. Or, maybe we have the energy to go play a sport. The blood is flowing. The blood is still flowing on a Friday. Half the time, some of the people are working on their laptop and shit, but they're half working. You know what I'm saying? And then Friday night comes around. Hey, it's the big night, boys. You know what I'm saying? We got a dinner at let's say 9 p.m. And then we got to hit the bottles by 11 or 12. That's always the move. I think I have to stand by that now. But the reason I say that is, at this last bachelor party I just went to, it was for our boy Anmol Sang. Anmol Sang. Y'all might recognize this dude as the only dude that I hang out with that's taller than me. One thing that I hate more than Zohran Mumdani smiling is a brother that's taller than me. I want that to be very clear. I do not like having people taller than me around. Never. I didn't grow up used to it except for maybe a couple of people on the basketball team. I've never enjoyed it. I've never enjoyed standing by a group of dudes and having people taller than me. What? Not after I've spent all these years being the tallest around. Why would I want someone taller than me? The brother's cool though. Went to his bachelor party. Now then, this brother, and I know you listen to the podcast, so don't, you know what I'm saying? We got to do this, right? This brother had a fun time Friday night. This brother, ooh, he had a fun time Friday night. Let me tell you, my man was at Tao eating all the appetizers. Oh, he did bottomless with us. And then he went on, he said, you know what? I can drink more. And he went hard. He kept going. Saturday rolls around. The hangover hits a little bit. Now, it's not even just a little bit, right? This brother was out of capacity. This brother was worse than Anthony Davis out there at that point. Also, these fucking Mavs are so shitty right now. Anyways, back to Anmol. The hangover hits, but it's not even just him, right? It's a whole group of people that kind of push through to get to Saturday to do the activity. And then at nighttime, it becomes a matter of, hey, this brother just is not feeling it, right? The energy is just not there. So do we cancel? What do we do? And that right there, right? The hesitancy of like not wanting to go to the big bang, right? People keep saying, oh no, you should do a Saturday to end it with a bang. But what ends up happening half the time is you don't end it with a bang. You don't even make it to the bang. Half the time, people don't even want to keep drinking on Saturday night because they know, all right, tomorrow's a travel day. I need to not be hungover by the time I get home. I don't want to be missing my flight. Maybe it's at 7, 8 a.m., whatever it is. So this whole connotation of ending it with a bang, I used to be on board with that. I used to be a big fan of that, where it's like, hey, you know what? Yes, on Friday night, maybe you just keep it a little bit different. Right? Maybe you go to a cocktail bar instead. Maybe you just do an early dinner and then maybe stuff at the house. You know, whatever it is. And then you can wake up, do some day partying, and end it with a bang. But now with the sample size that I have, you know, I've been to maybe 8 or so bachelor parties. Ending it with a bang has never worked. I don't think it has ever worked. And it's an exhausting thing, right? The whole, you know, you go out Friday, maybe you have daytime bottles on Saturday. It's a lot. It's tough. Maybe you have a little boat action. Bachelor parties and bachelorette parties have to be the most exhausting thing ever. And I understand bachelorette parties, I will say, are most of the time a different wave to an extent, right? I feel like girls' trips sometimes go harder than bachelorette parties, if that makes sense. Because at least the girls' trips, it's just like a bunch of girls that know each other. Versus a bachelorette, people are a little bit holding back a little bit because they know, oh, okay, you know what? I don't really know all these girls. I don't really feel comfortable getting that messed up around all these girls. So you dial it back a little bit. You want to make sure the bride is having a good time. Versus at a girls trip, everyone gets messed up, right? Everyone's drinking. And for bachelor parties, it's a bit different, right? Because all the dudes are just like, bug it. It doesn't matter who this dude is, this dude is. I'm gonna get turned. We don't really fear of the bachelor kind of losing his sense, right? Okay, worst case, we have to carry this dude out. Hopefully he can make it into the club with no issue. But we don't really hold back. So then I find it becomes much more exhausting than I would say, you know, a typical bachelorette. Also, bachelorettes are they just seem so much more cooler. Can we talk about that? Girls have themes. They got itineraries. Oh, a couple of bachelor parties, I've asked for an itinerary. I used to make canvas. Oh, I got clowned. Boy, I got clowned. Got called all types of slurs, if you know what I'm saying. But what's wrong with that? I was taking inspiration from the bachelorettes. I like it when you show up and there's a table that has all the shirts and all the, ooh, look, there's a necklace with a shot glass on the end of it. Ooh, there's sunglasses that say bachelor or groom squad. You know what I'm saying? I used to like all those things. But now as I've gotten a little bit older, I have to bring up the topic where it's like, do the shirts need to die? Do these bachelor party shirts need to die? I don't understand. I'm not that I don't understand. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure the value of it. Do I think it's cool? Yeah, it is. But $30 for the shirt that I'm only going to wear one time? They're not generic enough to keep wearing, out to go get some groceries or anything like that. These things are loud, bro. Do I have my shit handy? Let me find this shit, bro. Let me dig through this shit. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna keep talking so the video doesn't cut. But the shirts have just become almost a nuisance, bro. Like I like it, right? Everybody wants the special shirt. Maybe it's a certain design. Maybe it has a picture of them while they were a kid. But what are you going to do with this thing after? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this, y'all. Look at this, y'all. This is my boy Unmo's shirt. It was a fresh shirt. It looked a little bit like when people used to die in middle school and people made like dedication shirts at the Irving Mall. Look at this shit. I don't want to get the video because normally when when Riverside edits the video, it deletes pauses. So I have to keep talking while I show the shirt. So look at that thing. When am I going to wear this in public? When am I going to wear this in public? People are going to be like, did your friend die? I can't wear this in public. But you have to have it, right? Everybody wants the shirt. The shirt's a key thing. But I just got to know, maybe, as we get older, is it time to kill it off? Is this something that's trending down? Maybe we get shorts instead. Maybe we get socks, whatever the trending item is. Do we need to switch up the shirt? All right. Anyways, on to Vegas necessarily. Vegas is always a fun time. And 2 key things that I took away this time was this place is ran so goddamn well. I must say, holy shit. I was just walking around Saturday during the day. And you think about all the shows that are happening, whether it's comedy, music, some type of art show, or, like a magic show. And then the shows like the Jabberwockies, headliners, DJs, this, daytime, nighttime, all of these things are happening. And then you have all of the layer that people go for differently, right? Like food, right? The food scene of Vegas is also very well renowned. You have all these restaurants, whether it's the Gordon Ramsay restaurant, Planet Hollywood, the Guy Fieri restaurant over here, all these restaurants well known. That's going on at the same time. Everyone's flying into Vegas, whether they're going to party, whether they're going to hike, whether they're going for a conference. These things are always happening on a rotating basis. And it seems like things are pretty well ran, where it's like, bro, you have to think about, like, the planning committee of this city has to be probably the best in the world, bro. How can you, like, the whole system of the bridges that go over the roads so then people aren't crossing the street and, traffic continues to flow. How genius. Obviously, it's a little, inconvenient. And if you're walking, you may not be the biggest fan of it, but you think about it, it's like, damn, bro, this is a pretty solid system. I can't just cross the road as I please. People are probably drunk, whatever it is. It's also a safety thing. Now, on top of that, second observation, people in Vegas are a bit ugly, bro. I didn't realize that much. Like, the average look in Vegas, I thought was higher. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was just this trip, right? Maybe the look diminishes as the year passes out of their, main season. Their main season being that, like, spring break to about September timeframe. And, this is kind of the start of a little bit colder weather. And so maybe that's when, what I'm saying, that's when some of the ducks start coming out. And I'm talking guys and girls, right? I'm not just talking ladies. I'm talking about dudes and girls, where you're just like, I feel like y'all used to be more attractive. And look, I'm not talking all this shit. I know what I look like, right? But it's still something that you observe. Those are my 2 things from Vegas. But of course, always a good time. Congrats to my brother, Anmol. Definitely missing that man's wedding. But you know what I'm saying? Always do the bottles on Friday. On to our next thing, which is probably, oh shit, speaking of Vegas, flying out of it. Slight delays, but we quickly found out about how much social media has been influencing people to kind of be scared of a lot of travel. Yes, wait times have gone up, delays have gone up. All of the air traffic controlling pieces have gone in a negative direction since the government shut down, with less workers coming in, whatever it is, whether it's TSA, whether it's air, whatever tower controllers. But it's very interesting to see how people are showing up like 4 hours early because they fear, hey, this TSA security line might take two plus hours. So, I don't want to get caught in this shit. And I showed up. I showed up 2 hours early. Flight got delayed another hour. I spent 3 hours in the airport, then got on a plane for an hour, landed. I was good. Not the worst. Not the worst with all this shit going on. And then you see all these clips coming out of these, whether it's the pilot coming out to talk to the people saying, hey, you should contact your government official because this is costing the airline this and that. Oh, we spent 6 hours. Look, I get it. I get it. And the two main things that we talked about last week, right? The main government shutdown things that have been maybe more so not popular. What's the word I'm looking for? Front facing. Whether we've seen it on social media, whether we've heard it in dialogue, is the SNAP benefits and the TSA stuff. Now, recently, as of today, they had this. They're at this point where they might be able to open up the government again. Now, I have a TikTok saved just so I can play it for you guys. But a step in a positive direction. I think, a lot of people are kind of upset because, like, whether the Democrats held out and then caved, and it's like, well, what did we even do this for then? And it's like, maybe sometimes you don't do things for a reason. Or I guess you don't stay stubborn on a certain point if it's hurting the majority on a different way. We've seen whatever the impact from the airline or the SNAP stuff. But why continue that if it's hurting the common folk? Now, I don't know what this agreement will lead to down the road, right? Whatever the changes to Obama healthcare and the premiums and stuff like that, right? Does life become a little bit more unaffordable? But in the immediate impact, right, where we're dealing with people in a metal tube flying in the sky and less people working in that space, it's hard. It's hard to kind of weigh which side are you on. So here's a little clip I found, or not found, that got posted, and so I'll play it, and hopefully the volume is decent.
By way of schedule, just so you know, you're following, and if you're not at home, if you're waking up to this good news this morning, the Senate's vote late last night of 60-40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, a continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks. And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill, it's the Agriculture bill, and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible.
Anyways, the government's weird, right? Like, I get it. We studied it in school and all that stuff, and we should be probably a little bit more knowledgeable on it than we are. But the government's fucking weird, man. Like they're the kid in school that used to like draw penises on things. You know what I'm saying? Like we had this cool. This honestly, he was a cool dude, Terrence Mann, maybe. In Spanish class, this man would just draw penises on everything. And look, it to an extent, look, I'm not going to dog on him because it was kind of the wave back in middle school. People were drawing penises on everything. They would draw it on your binder, then you got to turn it into a spaceship, or you got to go get hand sanitizer to wipe it off. But the dude was drawing penises on everything. Like this is what the government looks like to me, where they're opening the book and they're seeing someone's face and they say, you know what would be really good on this page? A penis. And they put that on there, or they're drawing it on, with Sharpie on the edges of the book, right? Like, do I have a book near me? Damn, I haven't read a book in a while. But they draw it on everything. That's kind of what the government feels like to me. Like, none of this shit makes sense, man. And it might make sense to someone that's a little bit more in tune with that keeps up with it a little bit more. But what? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are just shut down. Y'all just didn't agree on something. And y'all said, you know what? Let's just go home. Let's just go home. Whatever happens, happens. Let's just go home, and then, we'll let Senate figure it out. The government is that kid in school. Now then, on to something even bigger, a bigger story than that, which kind of, it will see its effect more downstream than I think it has led up to this week, is the BBC news that recently came out. Now, BBC, obviously a news media outlet, predominantly I would say in Europe, but now what ended up happening is there was an edit that was put out. And this was a clip of Donald Trump leading up to the January 6th riot at the Capitol. And in the clip, it's him saying, we're going to go to the Capitol and we're going to fight. We're going to fight. Now then, what I think is happening is in this hearing, right, in this case that they're trying to figure out whether he is guilty of inciting violence for the crime, they're finding the actual clips of things. And then they're going back and seeing, this news media outlet sent out this clip, but this is the actual clip. So all in all, the summary is basically BBC put out a doctored video of Donald Trump leading up to the January 6th riot. Now then, I'm going to play what the edited clip was and then what the original clip was. They're both in one clip, they're both in one TikTok, so let me play it for y'all.
Walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. We're going to walk.
That's a completely different clip, bro. So basically, if the audio was bad, I'm just going to repeat it, where the doctored video that BBC put out was, we're going to go to the Capitol and we're going to fight. The actual video that came out was, we're going to go to the Capitol and cheer on our congresswomen and whatever it is. This is a big deal because anytime you get caught lying, it's bad. It's just bad. Whether you're a news outlet, whether you're a dude, whether you're a girl, whether you're at work, whether you're, on a plane. If you're lying, it gets a little rough. Now, BBC is basically now in this kind of reaction mode, right? They have to kind of take the steps necessary to kind of mitigate this. Because what's worse than being a news media outlet and then you are seen putting out fake footage of something? Now, the CEO stepped down and a couple other positions have already stepped down. And of course, people are kind of on them where it's just like, what the fuck, what is this? We need an answer to this. We need an answer to this. And kind of, if I'm being really honest on it, here's my take. I think this is a very catastrophic thing that has been unveiled, where it's literally fake news being put out. I get it. And I know that there has always been a media bias against Trump, right? And I think that's almost helped him in a lot of his campaigning, where it's people are seeing like, hey, if I just type in Trump, right? Everything I see on the first Google page is all this negative stuff, right? There's probably 100 times more negative articles about him, whether it's, official articles, whether it's just people on Twitter, whatever it is. And then if I type in Kamala Harris, oh, wow, look at all these positive things. Why do all these positive stories get pushed to the front of the homepage? That's so interesting. And we've known that this is happening, and I think that's almost helped his cause. But there's always this piece of, well, you know what? There's all those bad articles because he's just a bad person. But then when you start seeing stuff like this, and man, it hurts. It hurts the Democratic Party. After wins like this, that they've had in the past week, and the momentum that it carries, and then you see stuff like a doctored video going live. How do you react to that? And what's crazy is the CEO stepping down, but truly, how much does the CEO play a factor? We talked about this during the whole United Healthcare thing, where the homeboy shot him because it was like, you're in charge of all these premiums and all this stuff. But in reality, how much does he actually play a factor in that? And I kind of feel the same about this, where it's like, there's no way this CEO, I forget it's a guy or girl, knew exactly what was going out when, right? I don't think not a show, the 5 o'clock news that they put on every single day goes through all the way to the top to CEO and then gets put out. But does the CEO have to take a bullet for it? Yes. I've been watching the morning show. Have you not? No matter what happens on the news outlet, it ends up going back to the person in charge. I think that's the case for anything, right? It's sometimes easy to put blame on a certain individual if that individual can be pointed out, right? Remember, the most important thing that I've said is we always need someone to blame. We always need someone to blame. Whether it's someone getting shot, whether it's a government shutdown, we are always looking for a person to blame, right? Sydney Sweeney has good genes. We need to blame her. It wasn't her campaign idea, but we need a victim, right? We don't know whose campaign idea it was on the American Eagle team. So guess what? We're mad at you. Same thing for this BBC thing. I don't think the CEO put out that news article or probably had any transparency into it. But guess what? We need someone to blame. So it's going to be her. So this is still a developing story. So I hope to kind of keep y'all up with this in the next coming weeks. But bigger than that, honestly, is have y'all seen these Starbucks cups? I'm not going to lie. Those teddy bears are kind of cute. These teddy bears are kind of cute. People are fighting each other for these things. This is the beauty of America. What recession? You know what I'm saying? What recession? People out there buying Starbucks bear cups. Ain't that wild? What a recession, bro. Other than that, I'm closing with my crazy white people of the week, which is Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney. Well, Sydney Sweeney not so much, but Tom Brady a little bit more. Tom Brady basically cloned his dog. Yes, that is correct. Tom Brady's dog, Junie, is a clone of his dog, Lua, who died in 2023, he announced. Colossal Biosciences, which Brady is an investor in, cloned the pit bull mix using a blood sample collected prior to her death. The announcement coincides with Colossal's announcement that it is acquiring Viagen Pets and Equine, which cloned Barbara Streisand and Paris Hilton's dogs. So this is a thing that's been happening. People are literally cloning their dogs, and I had no idea. It must be nice. You know what I'm saying? Money changes things. Cloning, bro. This is shit that I used to fucking play make believe and look, I can put all this stuff in a lab and I can clone. You know what I'm saying? This is real life shit. And we're getting to a strange place. We got people cloning their dogs on one hand, and we got people fighting for Starbucks cups on the other. And look, like I said, I'm closing it out with the good genes, Sydney Sweeney. They had her do an interview for GQ, and the lady said, well, honestly, the big issue with the ad is that it is not nice to say that your genetic makeup is superior to other people. And you know what Sydney Sweeney's G response was? I like jeans. I like jeans. And she said, you know what? If I have something to say, I'll say it. But in the meantime, I like jeans. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, we love Sydney Sweeney. Once again, we'd love to have you on the podcast too. Now, with that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Thank you guys for listening again. Don't forget to share it with a friend, comment, like, subscribe. Don't close it out yet. Just drop that like, leave a comment if you want to. And, we got Thanksgiving coming up. We have our holiday giveaways always around the corner. And with that being said, have a lovely week and goodbye.